Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make 50-50 wheat and white bread rolls. So for this recipe you're going to need 200 grams of wholemeal flour, 350 grams of strong white bread flour, 1 packet or 7 grams of instant yeast, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup or sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 310 ml of warm water. You don't want it to be too hot. Mine's about 35 degrees Celsius. You will need a little more olive oil to grease your pans and your bowl later on. The first thing we're going to do is grab our mixing bowl, and into here we are going to put our instant yeast, our maple syrup or sugar, just wait for that to dribble on in, and finally our warm water. We're going to whisk these together and let them sit for 5 minutes. Next we're going to add into the bowl our olive oil, and that goes, our salt and our wholemeal bread flour. So mix that in. And finally we're going to mix in our strong white bread flour. As you can see, it's starting to come together and starting to look more and more like a dough. When it comes together, we can tip it out onto our side and start kneading it. You're going to need to knead this dough for about 10 minutes before we're going to leave it to rise for about an hour. Right, now that's just about ready to tip out onto our surface. So I've set an upside down 10-minute timer, and here we go. Just gonna keep folding and pressing in all different directions for the next 10 minutes. It should be a lot smoother and less sticky by the time we're done with kneading it. My timer done. So now we're going to add olive oil into our mixing bowl. Just a little splosh in there. And we're going to add our dough to that. And we're going to turn it around, get it all coated in that oil. Now we're going to pop a clean towel over our bowl, put it to the side and let it rise for an hour or 90 minutes until it's about doubled in size. So it's been just over an hour and my dough is about double the size now. So I'm going to get 2 baking trays and grease them with olive oil. And then I'm going to start shaping my bread rolls. So I'm going to tip my dough out onto my chopping board. And I'm going to try and cut it into equal pieces. I think I'm going to cut it into 16 equalish pieces because my kids like to have slightly smaller rolls, but you could do 12. I find it easier to cut it into 16 because I just go in half lots of times. Right, now I'm going to take each of these pieces and just shape it into a little roll. Roll it round. Just pinch it all into the center so we've got a nice even round top, and then I'll pop it on my baking tray. Pinch it, pinch the bottom in, so we've got a nice round top. This is the last one, and once they're all finished, we are going to get a little bit of our flour and just rub the top of each one. This will prevent the towel from sticking to them while they rise again. And they're going to rise for another sort of 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes, until they're about double in size, and then we can bake them. Now that they're all coated in flour, I'll grab my tea towel again and cover them up and let them rise for another hour or so. It's been about 90 minutes and my rolls are looking lovely and risen. I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees or gas mark 6, and these rolls will take about 15 minutes to bake. If you have a small oven like I do, you can put them in 2 layers and just switch them around in the middle after about 7 minutes. Your finished roll should look something like this. Now all that's left to do is pull them apart and leave them to cool on some cooling racks. So here are the finished bread rolls, ready just in time for lunch. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and have a go at it for yourselves.